Good morning and welcome back to Golden Woodland Farm. I'm Keith. I'm going to do a little bit different video today, talk a little bit about the Spartan races that I do. I had mentioned before a couple times that I'm a runner, and part of that is, after you run on the road for a while and then you do some trail runs, sometimes you're looking for something to change up a little bit. Just a little bit of background. I started running about 10 years ago when my son Nathan was in high school and was running cross country. And then about 4.5, 5 years ago, I started doing some CrossFit. And through some people I met in my CrossFit gym, I ran a Tough Mudder, which is an obstacle course race that's designed to be, to run in a group. A lot of the obstacles are ones that you really can't do by yourself. You have to work as a group to get through them, and that's the idea. The Tough Mudder is it's a group activity. And then some of those guys that I ran the Tough Mudder with, they also ran Spartan races, and Spartan races are really designed to be run individually. The obstacles are such that they're designed for you to do by yourself, and if you're in a competitive category, you have to do them by yourselves. You can run in an open category, which is what I do, so that if you have problems on an obstacle, you can use help from somebody else, or help somebody else, or if you just don't feel like you can do it, you can just bypass it. But anyway, that's a little bit of the difference between the Tough Mudder and the Spartan. But I started running Spartan races about 4 years ago, and I think it was 3 years ago, 2018. Spartan races are 3 different lengths primarily. The sprint is about 5K, between 5K and maybe 4.5 miles. A super is the mid-length, and it's supposed to be 10K. Generally it's more like 7.5 miles. And then a beast, which is about a half marathon. My experience is they're more like 14.5 miles or so, all with a bunch of obstacles thrown in on an off course or an off-road course. And they have these all over the country. And they design the course based on some of the terrain that's in the different parts of the country where the race is. So I've run those in Ohio, where it tends to be pretty flat, but generally very muddy. I've run them. There's one in the Poconos that's called Palmerton. It's at a ski resort. It's very hilly, mountainous. Actually, they call it a mountain race. Lots of elevation. Generally not a lot of mud, but lots of elevation. I've run one in the Phoenix area, basically no mud at all. Same with a little bit of ups and downs there. I've run one in Sacramento, also again no mud. And in West Virginia, I've run a number of them in West Virginia. Just recently finished a Trifecta Weekend, which is where you run the Beast, the Super, and the Sprint all in one weekend. And in West Virginia, they have those at the Summit Bechtel Boy Scout Reserve. Probably the nicest venue that I've been to. Just an absolutely gorgeous place. Thousands and thousands and thousands of acres of beautiful property, and the Beast course runs all through that. Lots of elevation. The Beast had over 4,000 feet of elevation. Rocky, tight, technical stuff through the woods, running up and down a rocky stream, some mud, swimming in a lake, just all different kinds of things. There are heavy carries, crawling under stuff, climbing over stuff. As well as some gymnastic things where you're doing, kind of overhead monkey bar or swinging from ring to ring, those kinds of things. I'm going to insert some pictures here. I'm not taking the video camera along on any of these, but one of the nice things in the Spartan races is they'll take pictures of you at various obstacles along the way, and those are available for you at the usually a few days after the end of the race. So I'll insert a number of those here, so you can get some of the different kinds of terrain and races over the last few years that I've done. Just a little bit of background. Something that I've come to enjoy and meet a lot of interesting people. If you have any questions, leave a comment. If you like this video, click the like and subscribe. Thanks for watching. A sandbag carry is a common obstacle in pretty much all of the races. Other races will throw in a mixture of different obstacles. Some you don't have any idea when you're going to see them. The longer races, the Super and the Beast, have more and tend to be harder obstacles than the Sprint. Barbed wire crawl is another obstacle that is in most every race, regardless of length. The Atlas stone weighs about 100 pounds for the men. And the bucket carry is another obstacle that's in pretty much every race. It's a 5-gallon bucket full of gravel, weighs approximately, 70, 75 pounds. It used to be you only had to carry it in front of you. You couldn't put it on your shoulder. And one of the things they've changed recently is now you can carry it on your shoulder. Another one of the common obstacles in every race is a dunk wall. You have to go down into a muddy pit and dunk under this inflatable wall to get completely underwater and come up completely covered with mud. Popular thing within the Spartan Racing. And then the last obstacle is jumping over fire. Again, another popular aspect of a Spartan race. All the races typically have that, unless you're maybe out. I think in Sacramento they didn't have it, but in Phoenix they did. During the race, if you fail an obstacle, there are penalties. The normal penalty is you have to do 30 burpees for each obstacle you fail. Sometimes instead of doing burpees, they'll have a penalty loop that you have to run, or at the West Virginia race recently, there was a penalty loop that you had to crawl under stuff. But typically, if you can't do an obstacle, there's a penalty. So these are some shots from 17 races that I've done over the last 4 years. Started in 2018. I did 6 in 2018. Did 6 in 2019. Only 1 in 2020 before they shut everything down due to the pandemic. And then I've done 4 here in 2021.